Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now this piece of content is directly from you guys. You'd been asking about the Nitecore MT2A Pro and I reached out to my friends at Nitecore and asked if they'd mind sending me one. So full disclosure, this was sent to me from Nitecore. However, as I do with a lot of the manufacturers that I work with, you know, I'm allowed to voice my own opinions on this. But generally I just try to stick to facts and, you know, maybe a little opinion towards the end. But I think if you're after an incredibly well built and reliable torch that has a backbone of just simplicity, which will hopefully make sense when we look through this, then I genuinely do think that this might be the torch for you. Now, quick look around the box. I will say Nitecore's boxes are really nice boxes as far as boxes go, but I guess with the vast majority of you it's just a box. You've probably been this, but there's some good points on here. So on the front you can see the light. It is up to 1000 lumens on its maximum output, and this does use one of Nitecore's newer UHI 20 LEDs. The UHI LEDs are more energy efficient or electrically efficient. I don't think that's the right word, but hopefully that makes sense. So they produce more light from less battery. As you can tell, I'm not an electrician. On the side here, 1000 lumens, distance up to 250 meters, has a reasonably good candela on this, which I do like as well. Waterproof up to 200 meters, IP68 rating, a little bit on the side here that just gives you a little bit more about it. And then what's included in the box, you get the battery that's included with this, which we will have a look into. You get a charging cable and you get a lanyard as well. Now they're all inside the box here, but yeah, we're just going to put that to one side because mainly we are here today to look at the MT2A Pro. Now it is a bit of a mouthful. If I get it wrong or if I get the numbers in the wrong order or the letters in the wrong order, I apologize about that in advance. So getting into the light itself, hopefully you can see from here it's a reasonably thin, long light. More of a pen style light, although obviously you can't write with this. I'm just illustrating that this is how you, anyway. So I'm becoming more and more of a fan of this form factor, being able to hold them. AA lights, AAA lights are really nice for EDC, but when they're so small and you're having to hold them like this, having something that you can hold in your hand that's just a little bit easier to hold definitely helps. I can totally see why tradesmen, people like that prefer this style of light. You can get this into gaps, you can certainly do more with this. Now as far as its dimensions are concerned, the full length on this comes at 142.8 millimeters. The diameter of the head, which is the widest point on here, is 19.7 millimeters. The tail, the tail cap, which is the bit that unscrews, this is slightly smaller. The radius of this comes in at 19.5 millimeters, so it's not massively different between the two. But hopefully you'll see between the head and the tail cap, the shaft does narrow here, where you have this nice knurling on here, which makes it easier to be able to grip, especially if you're holding this with gloves or you've got wet or dirty hands. This drops from the widest of 19.7 down to 17.2 millimeters. The weight of this uses a very common tough aluminium, like a lot of lights use nowadays. So if you're not including the battery, which seems a bit strange, you would probably include the battery, but without the battery on here it comes in at 40 grams, which again is really nice and light. Now I've mentioned the battery on here a few times already, so let's get to this because I think this is one of the huge selling points of this flashlight. So the flashlight itself uses one of Nitecore's NL1416R batteries, which is it's a rechargeable battery. If you're wondering, this does charge via USB Type-C, but it doesn't charge directly through the body of the light itself. Instead, you have to remove the battery in order to be able to charge this, and there is a charging port here on the I will say this is the left hand side because the writing's that way, it's to the left of there. But whilst this is charging, there's an LED at the top, so you know whether it's charging or whether it's full. If you do need to hot swap batteries, I would definitely recommend getting 2 of these. They're not particularly expensive to pick up a second one. The beauty of this is though, or of this light, is the fact that this is a dual source light. So you've got your 1600 milliamp hours worth of battery in here, but if you know that you might ever possibly run out of battery, if you have some spare AA batteries, then you can put 2 AA batteries into this and close this up, and then you'll be able to use 2 AA batteries instead. Now it does affect the options that you get from it and the lumen levels that you can get out of it, but we will have a look at that in a second anyway. But yes, really nice that if you wanted to, you can swap this out with AA batteries instead. Putting it in, screw it on. What you tend to get with Nitecore a lot is they just kind of grease these to make sure, again, it helps with that water from getting in, and then you've got an O-ring there on the end. When you screw this on, the first half a turn, it sits in really nice, and then when you get down to the O-ring, you can start to feel some pressure on there. Just roll that on, and then you are good to go. As far as features on the outside of the light, it's a fairly simple light, and I mean this with the absolute respect of no bells and whistles. One of the beauties of this light is down to its simplicity. You put the battery in, you've got a clicker on the end, that's it, job done. Now when you do get this, so when it comes, it doesn't come with the pocket clip on here, but it does come with a pocket clip. So if you, actually I think it did come with a pocket clip, I usually take them off anyway, but the pocket clip is in the box. But yeah, so you can get a good grip on this. So I have medium to large size hands. Hopefully you can see there's a good 1.5 inches protruding from the end there. And whether you're holding it on the shaft here or maybe towards closer to the end, or if you are trying to poke it into somewhere to find something, then you can do that as well. The LED on the end, as I mentioned, so this is one of Nitecore's UHI-20 LEDs. Hopefully you can see that it's seated in there right in the middle, and you've got a plain lens with a reasonably deep flat reflector in here. It's not a massive throw up, but I don't think it really needs to be a throw up. It's only 1000 lumens on its max anyway. And this style light, as I mentioned, how these are super popular with tradies, it doesn't really need to throw a massive amount of distance. I certainly wouldn't expect it from this anyway. Now the UI is all done through the tail clicker here, and as I mentioned with simplicity with this, so what you have is you just have 3 settings. You have low, you have medium, you have high. Click for on, click for off. When it's on, you then do a half press, and then you can change between each of the lumen levels. So this is low, which, what was low? Low is 50 lumens. Another half press is medium, which is 300 lumens, and then another half press is high, which is 1000 lumens. If it is that you're using the what was the battery? It was a 14100 battery, wasn't it? So the 14100 battery, the rechargeable battery in here, that's what you get low, medium or high. If it is that you're using 2 AA batteries, instead what you get is you just get low and medium. Low is 60 lumens and medium is 500 lumens. But that's it, it doesn't need to be any more difficult. You turn it on. What I have found, for me, the sweet spot is medium. 300 lumens is great just for everyday use. 1000 lumens is brilliant, but again, it's nice that you get 1000 lumens out of here. 300 lumens is great for walking the dog through the woods at night, being able to see what stupid things he's up to, or being able to find him when he's been chasing squirrels or rabbits or whatever. It does an excellent job of that. One of the things I forgot to mention is, so on the end here are some points where you can attach your lanyard to. It kind of tail stands, but you have to be very careful when you tail stand it, mainly because you've just got these small points here, so I wouldn't certainly try to rely on it tail standing. But if you're concerned about lights being dropped and accidentally coming on, then these will help to protect that mechanism that's in there, which will also help to extend the longevity of the light itself as well. So there you go. I could probably waffle on for hours, but I think we've kind of touched on everything. Great build, great reliability, simplicity is key, and then the difference, because you've got the dual fuel on this. yeah, really good. Now, let's fast forward, let's go down to the fishing pond and let's see how this works in the dark. Down at the fishing pond, and this should be a reasonably easy light to go through the modes. There's just the 3 modes. I know I've said this quite a bit, but it's the simplicity with this light that I really am impressed with. So its lowest mode, there is no super duper moonlight mode with this. There isn't an ultra low mode. The low mode itself, when you have it on low mode, is 50 lumens. And it does a really good job, I will say. So walking down to the pond, the little b-roll that I'm showing here, you'll be able to see, so this is just me walking down the path with 50 lumens, and it does a great job. Now when I'm stood down here, I can see the opposite side of the lake, which, I say lake, pond, which is about 20 meters away. These trees here, that's about 10 meters away. That little ornamental waterfall that's there, again, that's probably about 15 meters away. 50 lumens does a great job. If I'm being honest, I've kept this pretty much on 50 lumens. On its lowest mode, you get the most out of the battery, and it does a really good job. When I'm walking the dog in the woods at night as well, no issues whatsoever. Now, of course, you can then do another half press, which will bump it up to its medium mode. So medium mode jumps up from 50 lumens to 300 lumens. And again, if there is a situation that I've needed it and needed to bump it up, then I can do. Being able to see the opposite side of the pond, I keep saying lake. I tell you what, it's identifying as a lake today. There's a bird over there somewhere. But there you go. Just being able to see that on the opposite side. That's a really loud bird. I didn't even know what that was. But yeah, super easy to see. These trees here again, looking up into the canopy here as well. Very good. Now, what I'll do is I'll put this out here as I usually do. So looking at the hotspot in the middle, it's a reasonably defined hotspot for such a short reflector on this. I say short, you know, it's all right for what it is, but hopefully you can see that it's got a reasonably high candela. It's not too high, but just looking at that hot spot in the middle, you can see that it's reasonably pronounced. 45 degrees to the left and back again, 45 degrees to the right and back again. You can see the spill on this. Yeah. So that's the medium mode, which was 300 lumens. Then I can do another half press, which now bumps us up to the high mode. And high mode on this is 1000 lumens. So the little pond here, there's that ornamental waterfall, and then just behind the waterfall up there, there's another pond, which there's a little duck house in. I can see that now. Very easy to be able to see. This tree here, sometimes I make some content next to this tree. Perfectly lit up. The tree on the opposite side now, here to see. And then coming back this end, the other trees that are on the opposite side. There's that little, what's that called? Well, I've get ducks and stuff in there. Anyway, little thing. Super easy to see. I'm really impressed with this light. I know we talk about high candela lights, we talk about high lumen lights. For a light that just has these 3 settings, you've got low, 50 lumens, medium, 300 lumens, and high, 1000 lumens. It just does such a good job. I'm really impressed with this from Nitecore. Yeah, it really is an awesome light. And I hope, I don't say this enough, but I hope that this this video footage does it justice. There we go, up in the canopy again there on its high mode. It is just these 3 modes, no moonlight, no strobe, nothing like that. You've just got low, medium and high, and it is super simple. Now this has been on high now, how long I'm going talking, maybe a minute or so whilst it's been on high. Yeah, it's just a cracking light. So there you have it, the MT2A Pro. more and more becoming more and more of a fan of this this format of light. I used to shy away from pen lights mainly because of the length of them. However, in reality, when you've got this in your pocket, it doesn't feel any different from a normal light that's just a AA battery style light. That extra length doesn't kind of hinder you from having it in your pocket and doing things. If anything, it makes it a little bit easier because they're easier to retract from your pocket. If you've got certain pockets that you want to put these into, they're easy to be able to stand in those because of the length. They don't want to tip over. But fly on my little head there. Yeah, really impressed with this light, and I can see why this is becoming incredibly popular in the Nitecore series. Plus that additional fact, which I know I've mentioned about the simplicity, but the fact that whether you want to use the battery that's in here, but you've also got some AA batteries so that you've got that dual source. This might be one of my favouriteest lights of 2025. Now, we've had some really nice lights this year. But yeah, I think this might be top 10, maybe top 5 lights. So a little thank you to you guys. You were the guys that recommended that I should probably pick this up, or at least speak to Nitecore and ask them about it. Now, of course, there is a second thank you, of course, to Nitecore. They've supported my channel and they've been able to send me some really nice lights over the last 4 or 5 years. I definitely want to say a huge thank you to them. I look forward to future lights and working with them in the future. Now, I'll leave some links below so that you can see more from the MT2A Pro. MT2A Pro. It's a bit of a mouthful, you've got to admit it's a bit of a mouthful, this one is. But where you can pick one of these up from. I'll also leave some of my social media site links so that you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel, Moorlander Tactical, where I look at kind of more everyday tactical sort of stuff. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Just as an extra note, when I first got this light and I put on social media that I'd got it, somebody commented that they were thinking of getting one of these, but they'd read a bad review on Amazon that the person that had bought it, when they put this on and they put it on to its turbo, its highest mode, that it was sufficient enough for the heat that it melted the glass on the front, on the lens. The part of me's like, that seems fishy, that's bogus. I don't think that 1000 lumens would heat this up enough to melt the glass lens that's on the end here. Now, when you get this, as you usually get on the inside, you know, you have one of those little pieces of plastic so that the connector doesn't connect, so it doesn't turn on while it's in transit. It also has a small piece of plastic that goes over the lens that you're supposed to peel off. I think the person that left that review was a little bit low capacity in the head. I think what they had done is they turned this on, not noticed that there was this plastic bit on the front that you're supposed to peel off. They'd put it on to its turbo setting, or sorry, its high setting, which is 1000 lumens, and it's that had melted. I've had this on, in fact, put this on its high now. I've had this on, and while I was testing it and while I was doing different things with it, I've had it on for 5 minutes so that it gets to the hottest that it possibly could get. There's no way that this glass lens is going to melt from the 1000 lumens that's on here. If you have seen that review on Amazon, ignore it. There's no issues with this lens melting whatsoever. Is it warm? It's ever so slightly warm. It's been on for about a minute now. In fact, I can hold it on there. It's not even that hot. It's starting to get a bit hot now, but it's not. Yeah, low capacity users probably should stay away from high powered 1000 lumen lights. Yeah, just an extra note. They are more. What's the word? Not economic. They are. What is the word? Oh, for frick's sake. I have to start again. So a quicker look. I think it's just here. This is my favouriteest spot, but there's always bloody flies. Little knobheads. I don't think I'm watching the bloopers today. I think I've done reasonably okay. Anyway, I think this is coming out on the Wednesday. I might have 2 pieces coming out. I think I have got 2 pieces coming out. I don't think this is coming out on the Wednesday. Whatever day this comes out on. I hope you all haven't been having a good week, and I'll see you all soon. Still surrounded by flies.